In the last stream, we began working through the squeezer section of the quest line. We got our squeezer down with our basic portable tank, which unlocked water and lava for us, allowing us to set up this tier 2 resource generator, and in turn, allowing us to fully automate the production of deep slate, which we are processing through our extractinator to fully automate the production of lapis and iron. And right at the end of the last stream, we crafted up a bunch of these animal capture nets in order to begin capturing these chickens. And I've caught a few more cactus chickens here, but as we kind of mentioned at the end of the last episode, I don't really know if we actually need any cactus chickens at this point, because whilst we could go ahead and automate the production of cactus chickens, and we could use them to automate the production of cactus, we don't really need that much cactus anymore because of how easy it is for us to get wood from saplings. And so what I'm thinking we might do instead of using these cactus chickens is I'm thinking we might instead look to try and get something like a coal chicken, because a coal chicken could be useful to automate the production of coal and therefore also automate the production of iron, because coal is a fuel that we could use for iron. Now, if we wanted to make a coal chicken, we first need to get a regular chicken, and as we saw in the last episode, we can spawn a regular chicken if we get this summoning block, which is really not too difficult to make. It's 5 stone, 3 wheat, and 1 hay bale. In the last episode, we did manage to get a decent number of hay bales from the village that we accidentally started a raid on, and we do also have a little bit of wheat and quite a few wheat seeds should we need more. We did also smelt up a fair bit of stone in the last episode, and so getting at least one of these summoning blocks, and you know what, actually 2 of these summoning blocks, should be fairly straightforward. From there, we just need to place those summoning blocks, I believe, on top of dirt, and then right-click them with a seed. I think that's how that works. And so if we take 2 seeds and some dirt, we can potentially do something like this, and like this. And look at that, I actually thought it would use up the summoning block, so I probably didn't need to make a second summoning block. But I guess now I can just continually right-click to make chickens, which is pretty powerful. And we can, of course, take those chickens and throw them into the chicken coop with the other chickens. Never mind, come back. Let me get rid of the cactus chickens. It turns out those guys are too spiky to be around regular chickens, and I want my regular chickens in the pen. So the idea here is that if we wanted to, we could take coal and kind of feed it to the chickens, and you'll notice that as soon as we take 1 coal and we right-click it onto a chicken, right now at the top, it says next egg, 554 seconds. That number does not go down. I do not believe any of these chickens actually drop eggs, unfortunately. It also says growth 1, gain 1, strength 1, and if we right-click it with a coal, it now says conversion 1 out of 250 coal. So we would have to give this chicken 250 coal in order to make it into a coal chicken, which sounds like a lot, but I think it's probably worthwhile because we can then use that coal chicken to produce infinite coal. Now, the way this works is we need to set up a stasis chamber, which sounds pretty advanced, but it actually is just a chicken nest, basically, that we need to make. For that, we do need grass. Grass is potentially going to be tricky because I actually have no idea how we're going to get it, given that there's no grass around. I don't believe that we can make any kind of grass seed. I'm being told by the Twitch chat that we can potentially get grass from some villagers. And so I guess, real quick, let me grab my shears here, which are almost broken. I'm going to take a fresh set. Let's head on over to the nearby village. Let's see if we can't get 1 piece of grass here. I guess we could also take some bone meal in case we see any like actual grass blocks. We could always right-click and then shear that. And then we can come back and we can set up that nest. And we'll use the cactus chicken to show off how it works. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade these regular chickens that we have. Once we've got a very powerful chicken, we can then look at converting that powerful chicken into a coal chicken and then use that very powerful coal chicken to produce a staggering amount of coal. So the good news is that it seems like the raid that we accidentally triggered in the last episode has subsided. So there's no raid currently in effect, which is good. That means that we are somewhat free to kind of wander around here and potentially steal all of the wheat blocks, all the hay bales that they have lying around, which are going to be useful for spawning more chickens. The downside is that I don't see any grass, nor do I see any villagers left after the raid. Although I am also being told by the Twitch chat now that we might be able to grow grass onto moss blocks. If we place down the moss blocks, we might be able to then bone meal those to get some grass. And so I'm going to steal all of the hay bales here. Take all these back. We'll also do a quick little look around to see if there's anything else worth stealing. I don't really think there's going to be. But once we've got all the hair, and there's one of those pools of lava we were talking about as well in the last episode. So should we need more lava in the future, we could always just go and grab one of those to save us having to fight more blazes. But let's head back and let's see if that moss block technique works. Okay, back at home here. Let's do this. That's going to get us some mossy stone. We do already have one moss block, although I think I probably want to get a couple of moss blocks to really give us a decent chance of getting some grass, because we don't have that much bone meal. I think we probably can get more. I'm assuming there are more bone blocks strewn around the world in a similar fashion to what we found previously. But ideally, we'd like a little patch of moss here before we give this a go. Okay, so that totally worked, actually. So there's two things that worked here. First, bone mealing the moss block gave us grass, which is good. You'll see it also converted the moss block over here, because it looks like what you can do, which is very interesting, is you can take the moss blocks, and if you put them down next to stone, you can then bone meal the moss block, and it converts a bunch of the stone around it into moss blocks as well, which I did not know. That's good to know, though. Not that we necessarily need more just yet, and I think for now I'd rather keep my staircase intact. But if we need more moss blocks, we can always go down and use some of the bone meal to get more of them very quickly. For now, though, we do have grass, and so back over here, we should be able to make the stasis chamber. Again, not a nest, a stasis chamber. And so the idea here with the stasis chamber is that we can place that on top of an inventory. Let's say we put a chest down here, and we place our stasis chamber above it. We can then take something like a cactus chicken from over here, and you can grab the chicken, of course, with the animal catcher, and you can place it into the nest. So you just right-click onto the nest with the catcher, like so, and you'll see now that this guy is not going to go anywhere. He's going to sit here forever, but at the top, you'll see that it requires seeds. Now, any seed here will work. It doesn't have to be a wheat seed or any in particular seed. It can be any seed you like. For now, I will take a wheat seed. And if we feed that wheat seed to this cactus chicken, it's going to start a timer. Now, the timer takes a while. It's going to take 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, this chicken will drop probably one cactus, is what I would guess. I think it also has a chance to drop feathers. If you check in JEI, cactus, we press U on this, it'll show us the drops. It drops cactus, it drops feather. I don't think it's guaranteed to drop both. I think it is guaranteed to drop a cactus. I don't think it's guaranteed to drop a feather. So, not the best, but that's where the stats come into play. You'll see there's growth, gain, and strength. And if you breed your chickens together, you can increase those stats, and by doing so, you can get more drops. And I also believe faster drops as well. So what we want to do here is we want to take our wheat seeds, and we can use these to breed our two regular chickens here together. So if we do this and this, our two chickens are going to have some time alone, and they're going to produce another chicken. And that new chicken, you'll see, has growth 2, gain 2, and strength 2. So usually when you breed two chickens together, they end up having stats that are slightly higher than the two chickens used to breed them in the first place. And you'll see now that these guys have a breeding CD. This is their cooldown timer on their ability to breed. So these can't breed again for another 300 seconds. And this guy is going to take 1,000 seconds to grow. Of course, you could feed him some seeds to make them grow faster. But essentially what the idea is here is that we can take... I really hoped they would not try and escape, but that's probably my bad. Let's quickly... we should probably put the net back down, the fence back down. We should also get maybe some kind of fence gate to prevent this happening in the future. But ideally what we can do here is we can continue to make more chickens using the little chicken spawner here. That's going to allow us to produce another 2 chickens, for example, that we could then also breed together. If we bred those 2 chickens together, we'd get another baby chicken that also has better stats. And then once both of those baby chickens grow up into adult chickens, we can then breed the 2 kind of superior chickens together to get an even higher statted chicken. And then we can keep doing that. The highest you can get is growth 10, gain 10, and strength 10. And once we do get that super powerful chicken, that's where we can go and throw 250 coal at that super powerful chicken to convert it from a regular chicken into a coal chicken. And the good thing is, as well, is that we can do that with multiple chickens. So we can take, right now we're going to try and get one chicken up to 10, 10, 10. But ideally, if we can get two chickens up to 10, 10, 10, we can then just continually breed those two chickens to produce new chickens that are almost guaranteed to be 10, 10, 10. And at that point, we have an unlimited source of 10, 10, 10 chickens that we can then siphon off and pump full of basically whatever resource we like to turn them into different chickens. Because you can do this with almost anything, I believe. If we wanted to make an iron chicken, I believe we just take a regular chicken and feed it iron. For example, over here, we can give that a try. We currently have a chicken here that is not set to any specific resource. If I right-click with iron, you'll see it's now 250 iron ingots away from becoming an iron chicken. And the iron chicken here can be used to produce, you guessed it, iron. And so we do have the option to utilize chickens to our advantage to really produce a lot of resources. The only downside really is that we do need a lot of wheat seeds to make it happen, because if we want to continually breed these chickens over and over again, we need a fair bit more wheat than we currently have. And unfortunately, I don't think we really have a good early game solution to getting a lot of wheat seeds. I think that's something we are going to have to wait until we get further into the pack, until we get to, I think Pneumaticraft is going to be when we can really look at automating the production of wheat. Right now, the tree grower, I don't believe is going to work on here. Yeah, not at all. The bone meal will work on here, and we can, of course, harvest that. Looks like we don't have the mod that lets us harvest it without breaking it, which is unfortunate. And that does give us more seeds, and so we can continue to do that, of course, to get more wheat seeds. We could also just set up kind of a large vanilla seed farm and use that to try and exponentially increase the number of seeds that we have. But for now, I think that's kind of as much as we can do with the chickens. We can wait as soon as this guy grows up. I mean, I'd love to get one more wheat. Do we have some more bone here? And by one more wheat, I mean one more wheat seed. I think we should have more bone. We do. We got another bone block, which we can craft down into bone meal. And we can, of course, use that to get some more wheat seeds here. That gets us 4, which is perfect. So I'll leave these two growing. And then over here, I'd like to breed the 2 adult chickens that don't have a breeding cooldown, which is you and you. That's going to give us that new chicken. And so now what we'll do is we'll wait 1,000 seconds. In 1,000 seconds, we'll go ahead and we'll breed these 2 chickens together, and that's hopefully going to get us an even more powerful chicken. In the meantime, what we should definitely do is 2 things. 1, we can make some kind of fence gate here. I think that's going to be a tremendous investment into not having to continually break that same fence over and over and over again and risk our chickens escaping, which is not ideal. Let's do a quick one of, this is unfortunate because it's, oh no, it is odd. I thought I'd made this an even number wide, but I haven't. Let's do this. Let's quickly recapture our chickens. And then while we wait for these baby chickens to grow, we can head back over here and we can begin looking at the strainer section of the quest book. So in the strainer section of the quest line here, there are 2 quests at the top. There is the wood strainer, which I'll bookmark. This says the strainer is like the extractinator, but for, I don't know, something else, I guess. And then there is mulch. It says mulch can be used to make eroding water in the world. So mulch is easy enough. It is dirt and leaves, and we do not currently, I don't think, have any leaves left. That is fine, though. We do have shears, and we do have saplings, and of course we do have our little sapling growing stick that we can utilize to get ourselves some leaves very quickly. Dirt is also something that I think we might have none of. Never mind, we have 1 right here. We could, of course, make more with leaves as well. It's fairly easy to make, but given that we already have one, we can do something like this and get ourselves some mulch. That's going to be useful later on, I think, to make this eroding water bucket. For now, though, the wooden strainer here is 3 logs. It looks like they do have to be mineral logs specifically, with 4 sticks and then 2 meshes. We can use leafy string here. I do believe I also saw a wooden mesh. I did not. Never mind. We are going to have to use either a string mesh or a leafy string mesh. The leafy string is by far and away the easier way for us to go here. We can do something like this, and we have enough leafy string to make the leafy mesh. We do need 2 of those, though, so let's go for 10 leafy string. And then from there, we just need some more sticks, which we can definitely do with our logs here. Let's do it. Can we do this? We totally can. Nice. You can craft 2 logs to get 16 sticks. Just a little shortcut to make crafting sticks a little quicker and easier. And with that, I think we are basically good to go. we do have mineral logs in here from the last episode. Boom and boom. And so real quick, let's sleep so that we don't die. And now using this strainer, we should be able to generate the crystallized mineral chunks, that being these ones right here. It says obtained using the strainer or through growing mineral trees. So I don't believe we got, oh no, we did get some from growing mineral trees. Never mind. We totally already have some. So we can craft a block of those, and we can then use that block as a way to accelerate our deep slate production. It is slightly faster than the iron, and it also means we get that iron back because we can just grab that block again, which is potentially quite useful for us. So if we wanted to make these in the strainers, we would need the mineral resin we made before, and we would need, by the looks of it, at least an iron mesh. Interesting. And then as far as redstone goes, redstone is also made with a strainer, but this is eroding water that's required. Okay, so what I think we'll do, given that we got 5 crystallized mineral chunks from our first sampling, I feel like we might as well just grow another mineral tree here. And again, especially given how easy it is to grow them with our sapling grower, I feel like we might as well do this and this. Again, oh, we need the space here, unfortunately. I should also note there's no water there, so it's probably not ideal. I think these need like a little bit of space on this side. I think they need like a little cross shape in order to fully grow. Yeah, they totally do. That is fine. Again, I think the crook is a worthwhile investment because I think we might get the mineral chunks from the leaves, although I could be wrong on that. It could be the case that you get the mineral chunks from breaking the wood. Let's find out. Right now, we've got 5 mineral chunks. If we break the leaves, that's still 5. So I guess it is actually from when you break the tree itself. I think so. I think that's why it's causing problems with ultramine. You'll see this is an enriched mineral log. This is a regular mineral log. I think the enriched mineral logs are the ones that are going to give us the mineral chunks. That makes a lot more sense. And that's why sometimes when we go to break the tree, we end up with little floating blocks because those blocks are not the same as the other blocks. Once we have at least 9 mineral chunks, we can quickly drink from our canteen to make sure that we don't die. And then we should be able to craft up a crystallized mineral block, which is going to be required for the energy battery. We're going to need 2 of those. Before we get there, though, we do need the redstone. So to get redstone, we first need eroding salt mulch, which is made with 2 chunks, 1 mulch, and some stone. Right now, we don't have enough chunks. That is fine. Let's quickly do 1 more tree grower here with our sapling grower. Let's tear this down. Again, not too worried about using the crook, given that we already have enough saplings and we have enough mineral berries for the time being. But that gets us enough of the chunks here for us to be able to craft up the eroding salt. This guy right here. We just need some colored stone. We have got a bunch of colored stone right here. We'll use the light gray. Boom and boom. So I believe what we want to do here is right-click the eroding salt onto a block of mulch. We did just use our block of mulch to craft the eroding salt, but of course we can make yet another block of mulch fairly easily. And so now, if I do this and right-click it with this, we get eroding water. Nice. I do want to test if we can make an unlimited eroding water source. I have a feeling the answer is almost certainly going to be no, but if there's a chance that we can, in fact, get unlimited eroding water, I think we should probably give it a try. Okay, so a few more sapling grows later. We have another set of eroding salt mulch and another little mulch block. So if we do this and this, that does not work, unfortunately. We do have 2 blocks now of the water source, but we do not have an unlimited source, unfortunately. So if we do want to get more in the future, we are going to have to continue to make that salt mix, because now, unfortunately, we can't grab from the center. But we do have a bucket of eroding water, and that is another quest complete. And so now, if we want to make redstone, I think what we want to do is we want to take our strainer and place it down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place it down like in the ground, because this thing is too tall, like this. And by that, I mean 2 blocks tall, not that it's too tall in its construction. I believe what we want to do is we want to place it down 2 blocks in the ground like this. And then in here, we want to put some kind of mesh. Again, if we're going to make redstone, I think we need an iron mesh. Yeah, or an amethyst mesh, but I don't believe we have the ability to make an amethyst mesh. The iron mesh is just 5 iron and 4 sticks, which seems very doable, given that we have iron coming in automatically. Speaking of which, let me throw like a stack of iron in there just to get that cooking. Over here, we should have everything we need to make the iron mesh, which I believe does have a durability. It does, 526, which is a very specific number. But now over here, we can put that into the strainer, and we should be close to being able to make some redstone. The redstone is made by putting the crystallized mineral chunks into the strainer, and then we right-click to put the eroding water above the strainer, and look at that. It's going to begin turning our crystallized mineral chunks into redstone dust. Now, it's at this point that we kind of have to take a look and see whether or not it's worth doing this. And I think the answer is potentially yes. It might be a quicker way of getting the mineral chunks than cutting down a lot of trees, especially considering how many mineral planks we can get fairly easily, and especially considering that the liquid isn't used up. So I'm thinking if we get another strainer, which seems very straightforward, for that we need to get 10 more leafy string, which we can do, and then from there we need to make 2 more of the leafy meshes, which I think require a bit more in the way of sticks. But if we do this and this, we can take 2 more of those. We can then craft a 1 more strainer. We can place that strainer in the ground, ideally somewhere near our pre-existing strainer, like this. And then in a previous episode, we did craft a bucket of mineral resin. And so if we place that down here, what we should now be able to do is craft our mineral logs into mineral planks, and then place those mineral planks into here with the iron mesh, like so. And that's going to begin converting all of those mineral planks into mineral chunks, which I think is just much faster, because now we can just go ahead and craft a bunch of them down. We can leave a stack in there. We could even put a hopper down if we wanted to get even more. And that is going to slowly but surely utilize the durability of the iron mesh. It doesn't use up the liquid on top in either circumstance, and it's just going to produce the crystallized mineral chunks for us, which we can then place into here, again with the iron mesh, if we move it over like this, to produce redstone. Thankfully, the redstone side of the equation here is a fair bit faster, but I think in general this is easier than kind of repeatedly cutting down trees. While we wait for that, how are we doing on our chickens over here? Are these guys doing all right? They are 2 minutes away from full growth. And so what I think I'll do, while we wait for this to do its thing and kind of just process all of the mineral planks into mineral chunks, and while we wait the 2 minutes for these guys to fully grow, I think I'll quickly get some more dirt, and we'll look at setting up a little bit of a farm area with some actual water down to potentially grow some more wheat seeds, so we can go quite aggressive on the chicken production. I'm also told that there is dirt underground in the Badlands biome, and so it is currently pretty late. I think we'll wait until the morning before we head out, but I might head over to the Badlands biome and then look over there for some dirt, because getting a lot of dirt using the leaves is not going to be too difficult, but it's a little tedious. If we could just head over to the Badlands, grab a bunch of dirt using the FTB Ultimine, and then come back, I think that would be a much better way of going about things. Okay, so we dug down and found a cave here underneath the Badlands, and there is a bit of dirt. There's not loads of dirt, but there are some big patches of it, like this, that we can harvest, and that gets us almost 2 stacks of dirt, which I think is more than enough for us to get a wheat farm going. And I'll also grab this gravel as well whilst I'm here, just in case we need more flint in the future as well. Having to squeeze the cobble is a bit of a pain. If we just have the gravel ready to go, we can just take the gravel and just squeeze that to get flint directly, which is quite useful. So we have our dirt. Now, real quick, before we head back, we could make a homestone. This, I believe, it says shift right-click in the offhand to set location, right-click in the main hand to teleport there, only works in the overworld. And then there's an advanced homestone. This works in the overworld, nether in the end, and then this one works in all dimensions. So if we get just the regular homestone, which requires a compass, 4 beds, and 4 ender pearl fragments, we do have a lot of ender pearls now, so getting 4 ender pearl fragments is easy enough. We could then use that to just quickly teleport home after we've been out on a trip to the village or on a trip to the Badlands, which I think is going to make our lives just a whole heck of a lot easier. And so real quick, before we head home, I'm just going to pillage a couple of beds here, because by the looks of it, there are no more inhabitants of this area, and it saves us having to, oh, there's some cactus. I'll take the tomato seeds. It saves us having to manually craft the beds using our own wool. Okay, so back at home, we're going to do a 9x9 little wheat farm here to maximize the use of our water source block. Real quick, if you hold your Ultimate key and shift and go for small tunnel, if you've dug out like the outer perimeter, you can kind of very quickly dig out the rest of the space. If you go with shapeless, you're just going to end up with a big crater, which is not ideal. And then we do have 81 dirt, and so we can just go ahead and fill this whole thing in. Of course, we're going to put some water in the center, and then we can hopefully, slowly but surely, get a little bit of wheat growing here. It's not going to grow particularly quickly, but I'm hoping that just, you know, as we go, we're going to get more and more wheat seeds. We could use some of the bone meal that we've got to accelerate things a little bit here. And, of course, let's make sure we take out that center block there. But, yeah, as we get more wheat, we can continue to plant more. That is not the center, Isaac, by any stretch of the imagination. The center is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Have I made this too big? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have made this too big. This is like 10 wide in this direction. Let me get rid of this final row here. We did make a lapis shovel. I didn't know how much durability was left on my pre-existing shovel. I also didn't know how much dirt we were going to find. The answer was not really much dirt, unfortunately. But either way, there's our little farm that we're going to plant wheat onto. If we quickly grab some water, and I was going to say grab some wheat seeds, but we've only got 2 wheat seeds here, which is not ideal. We do have a bone that we can craft into bone meal, and we do have a bit of bone meal left up here. But even with that, it's not a ton of wheat seeds, and I don't think there's really an easy way for us to automate any of this. Let's do 1, 2. We can hydrate all of these, I guess. And for now, we'll go ahead and use these as best we can to increase our spread. But I do also want to take some... I guess I should have used all of that on one, actually. I was going to say I do want to take some of that wheat and use it to breed our chickens, but we don't really have that much wheat. I think it's going to be worth leaving the wheat and letting that grow initially, and then we can kind of come back to that and use it on the chickens later on down the line, because we need just so much wheat to breed them all the way. Although, there is like a big delay in chicken growth. And so you know what? Real quick, I'll take 2 more. Let's see if we can't find our 2 premium chickens. And let's see if we can't breed them. So it is, I think it's you and you. So I want this guy and this guy together. Those 2 should produce an even better chicken. Look at that, 445. So we're on our way, slowly but surely, to producing our super 10-10-10 chicken. And then once we have that super 10-10-10 chicken, we can, of course, use it to make better chickens going forward. While we were doing that, over here, we should have a ton of crystallized mineral chunks. We do indeed. Let's drop those in here to start producing redstone. Let's also grab another stack of the mineral planks, and we'll put those in over here. We should probably just go ahead and make another iron mesh. It's just 5 iron and 4 sticks. There's not really a good reason to not do that. Let's also do this, and if we quickly grab some more coal, we can craft that into a lot of tiny coal and keep this guy going to make even more iron. We don't need that much iron just yet, but I'm sure we're going to need more of it going forward. We've also got a lot of terracotta here, which we don't really need to be keeping a hold of. We do need more sticks, and with that, we can make the iron mesh. And before I forget, let's also get that homestone going. For that, we need a compass, which does require a redstone, which we are, of course, making over here now. I'll take that. We'll put you in here with the wood, fantastic. And now back over here, we should have everything we need to make a compass. We can then take one of our many ender pearls to craft ender pearl fragments, and then using the 4 beds that we just acquired from that village, we can make the homestone. And so I believe, if the UI is to be believed, that we should be able to right-click with it in our offhand to set the location. Sorry, shift right-click in our offhand to set the location. And then now, if we are out and about, we can just right-click. So we can imagine that we're all the way over by the village. We can then just right-click, and it's going to take us all the way back. Nice. So I assume it does have a cooldown, but I've got no idea how long that cooldown is. It doesn't seem to say. Oh, no, the pressing Alt tells you the coordinates of where you're going. I assume it has a cooldown. It might be like a 5-minute cooldown or something. But in general, I think that, yeah, you can see it's already coming down there, which is pretty good. But in general, that should make it substantially easier for us to get back from a trip, especially one that's quite far away. Either way, now that we have at least 9 redstone, we can make a block of redstone. That's the next quest here taken care of. And that unlocks for us 2 things. The energy battery, which we could potentially look at making. That would require 1 more block of crystallized mineral. But to be fair, I think we are pretty much there on that as well. We've got more redstone, which I'll take, and we do have what it takes to make a second block of crystallized mineral to go along with the first block that we made earlier that is currently in our inventory. And so if we do this, that gets us our second block. And at that point, we're just missing 5 more crystallized mineral chunks. And then from there, we can also make a generator, which is going to give us access to power, which I think is going to be quite useful going forward here. The charger from Applied Energistics looks like the way that we're going to make nether quartz and gold. And this charger does require power in order to work. So let's go and grab, ideally, 5 more mineral chunks. And boom, once we have the 6 chunks back over here, we should be able to do this, 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 and this. Nice. That gets us our energy battery. Fantastic. And to upgrade that, we just need a regular furnace. I'm happy to decommission one of our furnaces here. We've not really been using them too much, and so I think if we just do this and this, we can get our generator. Nice. So we'll hold on to that for now until we need it for power. In terms of pipes, I don't think we need any just yet. And thankfully, none of these do require blocks. They mostly just require iron, which we have a decent amount of. The energy pipe here does require blocks, but again, I think that's the least likely one that we are to need anytime soon. I think the item pipe is going to be much more beneficial in the short term. And so now the charger here does require 18 more of these crystallized mineral chunks. And so we are going to have to take even more of our mineral wood and just run even more of that through the strainer. How is our first strainer going over here? It looks like, as well, it's not guaranteed. Yeah, it's a 70% chance. Although, I have been told that if we go to strainer, there are upgrades that we can put into the strainer to make it better. For example, this first one here, meshes have a 20% chance to not be damaged when used. This one is not too difficult to make. There is the improved input upgrade. Input items have a 20% chance not to be consumed, so that wouldn't use up the mineral planks. I do wonder if there are many slots. There aren't. There's 1 slot up there. But then you can combine multiple upgrades into higher tier upgrades. Interesting. Oh, so there's like... Oh, I see. So it looks like there are 4 upgrades. There is the improved mesh upgrade, the improved input upgrade, the improved output upgrade, and the improved duration upgrade. And then there are higher tiers of each of those. So you kind of go from tier 1, which is improved mesh, to tier 2, which is sturdy mesh, to tier 3, which is reinforced mesh, to tier 4, which is everlasting mesh. And then it looks like at each tier, there's also like a compounding upgrade. So you can combine the 4 tier 1 upgrades into the improved everything upgrade. And then you can combine the tier 2 into the sturdy everything, and then the reinforced everything, and then the everlasting everything. So that's the best version of everything with the highest stats. Interesting. Okay. So with that in mind, we actually might be able to make the improved everything upgrade, which would give us meshes have a 20% chance to not be damaged when used. Input items have a 20% chance not to be consumed. Recipe outputs have an additional 20% chance to an extra roll. And a recipe duration is dropped to 80% of total duration. So it's faster, I think. And none of these look particularly difficult to make. Let's quickly see if we have what it takes to make them after we sleep here, because I do want to not die from hostile mobs. It does appear that our homestone is still... Oh, no, it's done. Okay, so however long that was is how long it takes the homestone. It takes a little while, but we don't spend that much time kind of sprinting back and forth, so I think it's still going to be a worthwhile upgrade. This one seems by far and away the easiest. It's 4 copper, along with what looks like 4 cobblestone. 4 regular stone, sorry. And 1 cobblestone. That should be fine. We do have some stone and cobblestone. Perfect. So that gets us the improved output upgrade. And then recipe outputs have a 20% chance for initial roll. Okay, I'm going to put that one in now while we work on the other ones. So over here, we'll just drop that in, and I'll drop the rest of these logs in to give us an increased chance of getting more chunks. We'll also take that off. And then this one looks more difficult, but the redstone clocks here are just buttons and stone. So they're actually surprisingly easy to make. If we do this and this, we need 4 blocks. I think 16 buttons is correct. And then if we do this and this, we can get 4 redstone clocks, which I believe just emit a redstone signal, by the way. If you're looking for a way to automate like a redstone pulse, I think these just, yeah, pulse redstone every once in a while. So if you need an automated redstone pulse, that's what that's for. But anyway, back over here, that's that upgrade taken care of. That one decreases the time it takes for a recipe to complete. Now, the improved mesh upgrade requires 4 copper meshes. That's quite a bit of copper, but we do have quite a bit of copper available. Annoyingly, I don't think these stack either, which is kind of the most annoying part of the whole setup here. They do not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're missing just 2 stone. Did I put some stone away, or do we just not have that stone? I think it's quite possible that we just don't have that stone. But that's fine. We can do this, and we can do this. And then while we're waiting for that, we can clear our inventory out just a little bit because it's got way too much stuff in it. And we can also get rid of those tomato seeds. We can take a look at this one right here, which needs 4 resource generators. So this should be, for the most part, kind of fine. The tricky bit here, I guess, is it's just the lava. However, as we've mentioned a few times now, we should be able to head on over to our nearest pool of lava and just bring a bunch of it back. If we're going to go to the effort to do that, I think it's probably worth grabbing at least another 2 buckets so that we can make all 4 of the resource generators from one trip. Now, the nearest lava pool is here. And so if we just right-click, add waypoint, and type in lava, accept, we should be able to head on over there, grab whatever lava we can carry, 4 buckets worth ideally, and then hopefully just teleport back with our warp stone. And it's really not too far away. 150 blocks is pretty close in the grand scheme of things. As per usual, let's make sure we drink. The thirst is not ideal, but I think it's a trade-off that's worthwhile, given that the canteen is, in my opinion, a fair bit superior to the carrying individual water bottles. And once we're here, we can then just do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then using the old homestone, we can just boom, and we're back. Nice. Okay, cool. So I am going to have to make another bucket here, actually, though, because I need to get at least 1 bucket of water to make the resource generator. So let's do one of these. Perfect. And then all we have to do from there is grab 2 more buckets of water, 1 and 2. That makes us 2 more resource generators, 1 and 2. And then from there, a single extra bucket should be everything for our 4th and final resource generator. Fantastic. And with that, we should now have everything we need outside of some stone, which is smelting here and here, to get ourselves the strainer upgrades. Let me also do something like this and make sure that both of these are still smelting. Over here, we do have what it takes to make this upgrade. And then now we're still just missing actually nothing for the improved mesh upgrade. Cool. Nice. We have enough stone. Perfect. And so with that, we should be able to make the first everything upgrade. You do need these upgrades. Can you decraft the everything upgrade? It looks like the answer is no, unfortunately, because if we want to upgrade to the next tier, for example, if we wanted to get a sturdy mesh upgrade, that requires the previous tier of mesh upgrade. And like, I'm kind of thinking that it doesn't look that difficult to make the next tier of upgrade. It doesn't look that difficult to make the sturdy everything upgrade, because the only tricky part about it, it requires 4 iron meshes instead of 4 copper. That's easy enough. This recipe is basically exactly the same, so it's very easy. This one here requires gold, and this one here requires, again, more redstone clocks. That one's super easy. The only thing we don't have here is gold. And so I'm kind of wondering if it's actually worthwhile holding onto these for a second and using them to upgrade to the next tier. Now, to get the gold, that's where the charger comes in. And of course, in the time it took us to do all of that, our mineral chunks have been processing away. We got over a stack of them, which is very handy. I will go ahead and put another set of mineral planks in there to keep those coming in. Back over here, though, we now definitely do have what it takes to make 2 more blocks of crystallized mineral. And with that, we should have what we need to make the charger. Nice. So the charger here can, of course, be charged using the generator. So if we do this and this, the charger has to receive power from the top or the bottom, by the way. And so you either want the generator above or below the charger. And if we go and put some kind of fuel in here, for now, I think the tiny coal is going to be our best bet. Let's grab just a little bit of that, craft it like so, and drop a stack into here. That is then going to begin charging the charger. You'll see at the top, it has 680, 790 AE out of 1.6 killer AE, which is the same as RF, by the way, I believe. So 1 RF, I think, equals 1 AE in these versions of Minecraft. But either way, we have power in here. This is generating power, and that's all good. I do wonder if this burns coal. It looks like, in good news, it doesn't burn the coal when it's not needed, which is very handy. And so up here, the charger is now capable of, I believe, helping us make some gold. So the nether quartz here is made by putting the crystallized mineral chunks into the charger. That makes sense. So if we do this, it's going to go ahead and charge that chunk. You'll see the little chargy lines there. And once it's done, we should get a quartz. Now, on the other hand here, this is expensive. We can turn blocks of crystallized mineral into blackstone. And then from there, we can put, oh, I see, but we only need like 1 blackstone. Oh, no, we don't. We need multiple blackstone. We can then put that blackstone into a strainer with a block of crystallized mineral on top of it to get the gilded blackstone. Only a 50% chance. And then from there, we can then strain that to get gold. That makes gold pretty pricey. There's the nether quartz. That's easy enough. But this one's tricky, especially if you're wanting to get 4 gold ingots. That's potentially going to be a little pricey. But let's see if we can't make it happen. So we need to, first of all... Oh, it looks like we can use the blackstone on the resource generator. That's also good to know. So we need to put the block of crystallized mineral into the charger. That bit's easy enough. Let's do this. Take this guy, drop him in the charger, like so. And boom, we get the blackstone. From there, this is where we could definitely have done with another bucket of lava, actually. People did make a good point in that what we should probably do. This thing only holds 8 buckets. I do believe there's a higher tier tank, but it requires diamonds, unfortunately. It goes from... oh, no, there's advanced that requires gold. Yeah, this is what we could definitely do with using the resource generator again, because we definitely do want to try and get more blackstone. We don't want to be using the mineral every time we want blackstone. And so I guess our homestone is charged. I'm just going to head back to the lava pool. We could bring the tank with us, but then we wouldn't be able to use the tank without crafting another tank. We do already have 5 buckets of lava. I don't think we're going to need that many more resource generators, although that's not true, because now that I mention it, we are going to have to make 4 more resource generators if we want to make the next tier of upgrades for our strainer. And so you know what? I will bring this tank with me. I assume, given that this is called the portable tank, that this will retain its inventory when it's picked up. So I'm assuming that when we break it and replace it, that it keeps anything that we put inside of it. So let's give this a test. If I put this down and I do this, it's got 1 bucket of lava in it. I assume, yeah, that retains its lava. Nice. Okay, cool. So we can just do something like this, and we can carry quite a few buckets of lava back with us. It's not like the tank is particularly expensive to make, so if we need to make another one to use our squeezer, that is completely fine. And I'm even going to go ahead and grab a few more buckets of lava here. I'll get 4 more, just so we don't have to worry too much about the lava going forward. And of course, just like before, we can now grab our homestone, and boom, we're back. Let's go for a quick snooze, and once we're awake again, we should now be able to craft up a couple more of the resource generators. So we want at least 1 resource generator, tier 2, for the blackstone, right? And in terms of the blackstone, I would love to get another storage drawer. We could use the 2x1 drawer that we have here, but that's going to look a little bit awkward. And so I think what is going to make more sense is for us to quickly do one of these and one of these to get more of these. Of course, mine is still set to small tunnel, which is not what we want. We want it set to shapeless, so we can grab those logs. With those logs, we can make more planks, and with those planks, we can make another storage drawer. So if we do this and this, we can then take this. Let's say we put it down here with the blackstone above the resource generator. So we want you here. Fantastic. That should start producing more blackstone for us, so we don't have to continually use the mineral chunks to make more of it. Speaking of mineral chunks, though, what we can do is we can make a block of crystallized mineral here and place it above the blackstone to make it even faster than the deep slate over there. And then we want to take the blackstone, and this time we have to put it under a strainer with a block of mineral. So we could replace one of the pre-existing strainers that we have, but again, I think in the interest of kind of working in the longer term, it's probably just going to be an easier system if we get another strainer, like a 3rd strainer, so we can just leave it doing its thing. This one, I've just dug the hole in the ground, but this one's actually interesting because of the fact that we need more leaves. So that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is the fact that this one has a solid block means we can't right-click through it, I don't believe, and so we're probably going to want to put this one higher up than the previous 2. So let's quickly do another one of these. Fantastic. This time it's the leaves that we're after. Good stuff. Those leaves should allow us to make a ton more of the string. Fantastic. And the string should allow us to make 2 more meshes. And those 2 more meshes should be everything for the wooden strainer. Perfect. This time around, I'm going to place it higher up. Like I said, I'm going to put it down just 1 higher up like this, because maybe even then that might not work. Let me give it a try, though. Let me make 1 block of crystallized mineral, like so. And if we place that directly on top of here, can I still open this? I can't. That's unfortunate. In that case, I'm going to place it 2 blocks higher up. I'm just going to move it basically up to the surface, like here. Boom, and boom. That way, we can now put another mesh in there. Again, I see no reason for us not to make another iron mesh. They're very easy to make, and we have basically unlimited iron. And so let's do this. And then now we can take the blackstone, we can put that in here, and that is going to begin to process that blackstone into gilded blackstone. 50% chance, actually, to produce the gilded blackstone. And we didn't win that 50-50 reroll. The good news is that we have basically unlimited blackstone now. That is coming in quite quickly. And so, boom, we get gilded blackstone. Then we take the gilded blackstone and we put it in here with the eroding water. And the chance here is, again, 50%. And I guess this is kind of where we want those upgrades, right? What are the, there's one upgrade that increases the output. I think the one upgrade that increases the output is the one that we're using. And by using, I mean it's over in here, right? This one is, yeah, extra roll. So if I put you in there and I put you in here, that's probably going to give us a higher tier chance. And of course, we do have access to item pipes. And so we could look at automating this fairly easily. Even with hoppers, we could look at automating this, you know, feeding from here into here and then feeding from here into here to automate that production of gold, which I think is definitely something we're going to want to do because we are going to need a lot of gold going forward. And not only to just keep working with the mod pack, but also if we do want to make more of these upgrades. Because if we do want to make this next tier of output upgrade, we do need the gold. I was under the impression that we might make like one sturdy everything upgrade, but it looks like we're going to want to upgrade all of our strainers. And so what I think we'll do is I am going to go ahead and upgrade this. Ben has said there's a chance that we might be able to undo this. You totally can. That is good to see. So it actually doesn't matter. If we put all of these together, like so, we can then place this into this strainer here. Not only is that going to make it faster, it's also going to increase the chance of getting an output. It's also going to decrease the chance that the blackstone's used, and it's going to decrease the chance that the mesh gets used as well. Like the durability on the mesh goes down. And so that's just an overall upgrade. We should probably make that same upgrade for each of the strainers in the line. And then once we've got enough gold, we can then look at kind of decrafting all three of those and then look at upgrading all three of the strainers in the line to just make everything better. And once we've got a couple, we could then probably take these out, put these, actually, I guess it doesn't really matter. We're not too worried about the blackstone. In here, we can then put this back in like this, and we can use it in here to also increase the speed and chance on these gold nuggets as well. And as soon as we have at least 9 gold nuggets, I believe that we should be able to complete the Age of Gold questline. We totally can. And in doing so, we kind of complete the water questline as well. We do obviously have stuff here that we can do with making pipes, which we'll definitely do in the next episode. But for the most part, the water questline is complete. And next time, we can begin looking at the silicon questline, which is actually going to be good for us because it's going to give us access to applied diagnostics, although I do also see that we've got refined storage in as well. These advanced processes are from refined storage. So I assume that we'll go for one of those. Either it looks like we have to use applied diagnostics to make the processes from refined storage in this pack, but it looks like we do have both storage options available to us. But next time we'll come back, we'll look at that. We're close to getting to Pneumaticraft as well, which is right here. Pneumaticraft, I believe, is going to give us the ability to automate our wheat production. If we can automate our wheat production, then we are going to be able to hopefully automate the chicken setup that we have as well. Over here, our wheat is growing slowly but surely. We can harvest that and, of course, plant some more down here to keep that whole thing going. Over here, how is our new chicken going? It looks like he is fully grown. He is this one, 445. And so now we could breed the 445 chicken with, you know, maybe one of our lower chickens. It's not going to be quite as good of an uplift as if we had 2 of the best chickens, but come on, my friend. You're only a 111 chicken. What are you even, why are you escaping? Let me quickly grab 2 more wheat, and let's see if we can't get an even higher tier chicken here. So I am going to right click onto our 445 chicken because he is the best chicken. That is this one here. And then I'm also going to do the 233 chicken here. And these two should produce an even higher tier chicken, hopefully, with better stats. Yeah, look at that, 565. Nice. So we're getting there. We're over halfway towards the 10-10-10 chicken. We can kind of keep going with that until we get to the highest tier, at which point we can then hopefully get coal. Over here, this guy's done, and you'll see we got 1 cactus. Of course, 1 cactus, not particularly useful, but if we had higher stats, we'd get more cactuses, we get cactuses faster, and ideally, eventually, the goal is that we can automate wheat farming, using Pneumatic Craft, we can then use that to feed seeds automatically into this chicken stasis chamber. You can do that with a hopper, by the way. You can just hopper into this chicken and it will give them the seeds. Those seeds can then be used, in our case, to make coal from the coal chicken, and then we can use that coal automatically for resource generation, which is going to be pretty useful. But that is a problem for future Isaac. For now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Desertopolis there.